Hey, what's up, guys? It's Epically Noob with you again, and today we're gonna go through Abyss 81. Okay, so it's gonna be another Soul Badguy showcase, as you can see from the video that I'm currently playing. This is a pre-recorded video because uh, I wouldn't know how to react when I was actually fighting through the Abyss, because honestly speaking, this was actually a pretty hard one. It took me a while before I kind of figured out the mechanics behind it, but eventually I did. So now here I am with this pre-recorded video, going to go through how the mechanic is and how I think it will help you to cross this big hurdle. Because once you get through 80, the biggest hurdle is basically every single thing. So 81 to all the way to 90 is gonna be very difficult, and they say that 81 is also one of the harder ones because there is a kind of I wouldn't say it's a hidden mechanic, but it's more like a, if you can't figure out how to surpass this, then you will not be able to get through 81 at all. But eventually it turns out the answer to it is actually way simpler than I expected. But I'll get to it when I go over to the actual stage of the boss fight, which is after this. This is actually gonna take a while. In fact, I think this minion fight was actually longer than the boss fight. I can't really remember, but yeah. Anyways, as you can see, my team comp over here is kind of odd. It's actually not really much at all. I'm running actually a full, I would say, three water characters with one soul bad guy, because the showcase is actually for soul bad guy, but actually he dies later on, close to the end at least. So he does have a little bit of showcase, and Luna as my second DPS, along with soul bad guy as my first, and I brought Crow for his defense up and also for his S3 damage and his provoke for a little bit of annoyance, but I don't think I actually used it. Also, I'm using DN here for the attack up buff and also the anti-crit buff. The anti-crit buff is really helpful here, although once I actually kind of figured out the mechanics like halfway through the boss fight, I realized that it's helpful, but it wasn't actually needed. Uh, but in all, it did help me at the start to realize like how it was, what the actual mechanic is behind it. So here I am at the final part of the first wave. Hopefully I can just breeze through this. If I remember correctly, I did breeze through this, partly because of dual attacks. So here we go. It's quite a nice damage with defense down and attack up from Soul Bad Guy with zero Molagora investment. So that is really nice. Then initially I did think that I want to get, like, all my skills like saved up so that I can just use them all from the first turn. But then again, good luck gave me a dual attack at the wrong time, so I can't really decide if it was a good luck or a bad luck. So yeah, my Luna's S3 wasn't ready, and I just entered into the boss fight without the S3, I think. Okay, so now here we are in the boss fight. Okay, so I want to just go through with you how this works. Basically, everyone increases combat readiness, so the two Shuris at the back will increase combat readiness, and also Watcher Shuri increases attack and critical hit as time goes by. So in other words, you want to take him down as soon as possible before he gets the chance to destroy you. And also, if you drop a debuff on him, the first attack after that will be sort of evaded, so it's like miss. So debuffing him isn't a good idea. So Soul Bad Guy's S3 is actually a bad choice, which I only realized afterwards. And also, his AoE attack basically drops a cannot be buff um, a debuff on all your guys. So bringing a Dispeller is definitely good. If you have like Angelica to use, that is also really good as well. And one of the mechanics that I did realize after retrying this stage quite often was that instead of going for the Shuris at the back, you could actually just nuke him down straight away. Because I think that would be a way more efficient method and also a lot less time consuming. Because I already kind of wasted almost 5 minutes in the first wave, the second wave I tried to speed it up as soon as possible. So that's how I went. I just went straight into the boss. And turns out it actually worked out for me. So I just try to do as much damage as I can. My soul bad guy is there as well. A little bit of a bad luck there without the crit. But all in all, it's actually not too bad. Okay, right here, Soul Bad Guy is so sorry, not Soul Bad Guy. Watcher Shuri drops the target debuff on my Crow. So that's actually a one big problem because if the two Shuris at the back hit the ally with the target debuff, it basically increases combat readiness for everyone, like legit everyone. So in other words, you want to dispel it as soon as possible. In fact, if you can actually just save your dispel till you have that as an issue. So I've used Arky to get rid of that last one, and also from then on, I don't have to worry about the extra combat readiness boost. Oh, actually, they still do boost because as long as my turn ends, it still procs. So around here is where my soul bad guy dies. As you can see, the volcanic viper is also very helpful in this stage because of the extra damage proportional to health. And yes, it's honestly really good. And so the dispel is helpful, especially when you are going against a cannot be buff, and you have an attack up buffer in your team as well. But you have to note that Angelica's S3 will only work if she goes before the Watcher Shuri. But then again, she also has a chance to have the S3's buff dispelled by Watcher Shuri's S2 AoE. So that's a thing that you have to consider. So all in all, if you have a dispeller that's reliable, use it. Like for example, Tamarine, or if not, the normal Achates or Acades or however you want to call them. But yes, these are the most few recommended healers that you should bring. So Acades and also um, what did I just say again? Tamarine, yes, Tamarine. So if you have these, please use them. As for the others, it's recommended to bring 2 DPS and also a single tank. Because the tank, you want to put it at the front just to soak up the damage, but at the same time you don't want it to be too fast, if possible, so that your target debuff doesn't uh, push the enemies too much, you know? So slow tank is fine. You don't need someone like Crow. My Crow is currently at like 158, I think. Okay, so here's the character stats that I have. Um, Later on, if you see like me clicking on some of the equipments, that's just because those are the new equipments that I have on them. So yes, this is how I've dealt with the 81 Abyss. It's honestly quite tough, but once you get used to the mechanics, actually dealing with it actually isn't all that bad. So in other words, 2 DPS, 1 healer, and also 1 tank. Your tank, you can put it really slow, it's okay as long as your healer can keep up with the heals for your tank. So that's how it is, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Um, okay, I think right here I was actually searching for my Crow. Oh yes, I was looking for my Crow. So this is my Crow stats, it's pretty tanky, it's not too bad, it's 160 speed. And yes, thank you and I hope you enjoyed the video. Cheers.